Good morning, Divine Collective. How is everybody? I love you guys. I hope everybody is doing awesome. I'm just going to get right straight to the point. I woke up this morning at 2 o'clock, and obviously I was going to get a message. And I sat around thinking about things for a while, and I understood what the message was. And this message is very sensitive, and I just want everybody to know, I'll put a warning thing too. This message is about a subject that isn't openly talked about very often, but God wants me to bring it out today. And we are going to talk about the OUJI board. And we're going to talk about doors and how the OUJI board is a door to energies and powers that most people don't understand. Now, I know the question is, well, how would I know that? No, I never played with an OUJI board. Praise God, my mama. I love my mama. Found one time in a new house we moved in, and I ran out there and I told my mama, look, we found an OUJI board, let's play with it. And bless my mama's second grade heart, she took that OUJI board and she walked out to the trash can out back, and she said, Connie, anything like this you ever find, you set fire to it and destroy it. And so, no, I don't have experience with the OUJI board. But I know somebody who has. And because that life involved my life. And even though my mama never played with the OUJI board and taught me not to, and my mama had a lot of good qualities about her, there were other areas in my mama's life that maybe she couldn't control. And I will tell you why. Because my mama got with my dad when she was 12 years old, and my dad was 42. In this day and age, my dad would have been put in jail. And so, now I, as a child, thought my dad was, I love my dad. And I never saw parts of him probably that my mama knew. So, with that being said, I was raised with people who were of a basic animal nature, such as cows and pigs, of breeding and things like this. My dad come from a family of 13 brothers and sisters. My mom probably had 12, I think. So they were into other boyfriends and girlfriends, and I witnessed this as I was growing up. And it, I'm just going to say it, orgies and cheating and things like that. So my first awakening came when I was 3 years old, and my mother was with my father's brother, and I woke up and recognized this at 3 years old. We were in a debilitated old ruined building it was dark and dreary, but I knew what they were doing. And I woke up and I remember stomping my foot because I knew our family was not going to be what I thought it was supposed to be. But I don't know what I thought it was supposed to be, but I knew at 3 years old it wasn't going to be that. And I remember crying. And no, I can see it like it was yesterday, right now. And I looked over at the light coming through a dirty old window that had a dump or an old log in front of it, and I went over there and climbed up and looked out the window at this tree, and it was like that tree comforted me and put me back to sleep. And so, I remember later in life taking my little brother and hiding in the closet while my mom and dad were having orgies and stuff like that. Now, what does this have to do with the Ouija board? Maybe nothing. Because my mom had, I wasn't allowed to see it a lot, but I saw it and I know what it was and I understood it. And I know I didn't want my brother seeing it. Now, let's come to the other side of the story. Someone very close to me that I know was taken to the babysitters, and they were swingers, and it didn't matter what age, and they used the Ouija board. And they called out demons and got attachments and still have them to this day. They don't even know. And how do I know this? Because they can't change. They won't change. They won't see it. They don't understand. But I know this, that when you open the door on the Ouija board, you open the door to energies that aren't understood, that may not be malevolent. I don't know that. I want to call them demons, but I can't say that they're demons. But what if these are energies that are such high levels that when they come into low-level energies, they are malevolent because of the thought processes, because of the heart processes, because in all actuality, we shouldn't get these energies within, immediately or anything like that, anyway, the problem, the thing I'm trying to make people aware of is that there are energies that are out there. And we must be careful what we call to ourselves. It's nothing, power is nothing if it drives you crazy or if it makes you prideful in your ego and destroys you and your world. Myself, from the very beginning when I came here, was so leery and weary of these energies that, like I say, I would hide from these things and they would literally have to come looking for me and my brother, and I would be in the closet, and this was at the age of 5 and he was 2. By this time I knew I had to protect the little ones, and I did, although I knew I know angels were over me because I had a vision as well of my grandmother. She had passed away, and she had came to me and told me that everything would be all right. I'm very uncomfortable talking about these things with you because this isn't a topic that a lot of people talk about or share. But when you curse someone with an intention and you want to do things, you just don't know things about how words and intentions can create spells, that we live in a mystical, magical world. And a lot of people don't see it, but that don't mean it ain't so. Just like laws, just because you don't know the law, when you break the law, don't mean that you won't have to pay for it. So, it's kind of like on that. So it's not a need to know basis. It's something we should be taught from the very beginning of life. The sacredness of life, the sacredness of sex, because sex is what brings life into this world, this creation, is through sex that we, become impregnated and bring children into this world. And this world is not like, the Garden of Eden. There are energies in this world that will eat you alive and never release you. And I have witnessed these things throughout my life as I dug my way up out of hell itself. I'm going to pull a card off the top of this deck, and then we're going to read it, and then I have another story to talk to you about. Let's see what the Spirit is saying. The Ring. This is card 57. The Ring. Let's see what we get here. This reading today is a reading for the Divine Collective. It's something that I was felt called to do this morning to talk about. The demons and such as that. And I said that was 57, right? This is not a subject that I like to cover because a lot of people don't believe in it, but I want you to know that it's true, and I'm going to help you understand the truth of it. 57, the Ring. Take stock of the jewels you adorn yourself with. Watch out for rings you wear out of habit that keep you connected to the old you. The infinite, the wheel, the connection. When you're light, it's connectedness, humility, sacred cycles. In the dark, it's unconscious repetition, starving for connection. Study images of the mandala, the unus and the mundus, the Ouroboros and the medicine wheel, the ring. The ring is an image of connectedness rather than viewing life as linear, as a series of progressive achievements. The ring challenges us to sense the cyclical, infinite nature of our world and experiences. Beginnings and endings fall by the wayside as we practice seeing ourselves as part of the cosmic circuitry of creation. And this is where I want to stop for a minute, because this brings me to the second part of where I witnessed my mom and dad having orgies and hid me and my brother. I myself gave birth to a child at 17 years old, and my mom was there, and she made me swear on my baby's life that I wouldn't smoke pot, and I did, just to get her out of my hair, and my husband was in prison. Nothing to laugh about, but at this point in my life, I can laugh, I overcome it. So, I'm just shaking my head at myself. But what did I know? I didn't know, did I? And I was having an orgy. Yeah. And, but before that happened, before my mom asked me to swear on my child's life that I would not smoke pot. And like I said, yeah, just get rid of her. And that night, my child died. I swore to God on her life, and she died that night. And, well, what can I say? You should always be careful of what you say. You should always, never swear on anybody's life, ever. It took me years to work off that karma. I continued to believe in God. I just didn't know what God was. In between that time of my childhood and when I reached that 17-year age, many things had happened that, you know, I had no, or felt I had no control over because I had never been allowed to say no. I'd get my mouth smacked. So I was raised in animal nature, you see. Now, I'm not making excuses for myself. I'm just saying it was all I knew, and I wanted to know more. But one of the things I want to point out to you is that a lot of things I talk about, I'm very qualified for because I have literally experienced the depths of a sorrowful, meaningless hell. Not now. I'm going to pull a charm because no, not now. Not now at this point in time. My hand's on the wheel. I drive my ship. If I could get that for you to see, I hope. Let's see. Yeah, well, you can tell, right? My hand is on the wheel. I drive my life now. I didn't know that I could do that back then. And that's why I'm bringing these things up. Watch over your children. It is horrible to think that anybody could do things that were done to my friend. It's horrible to think that adults would participate in anything like that, but they are out there. And I'm here to let you know that it's not a myth to watch your children, to question your children, and to protect them from the demons of this world, the low-level animalistic natures of primitive life that we have yet to transmute into something better. I am a blessed one that come out. Meant to. I was meant to go in and I was meant to come out because I am a demon slayer. And I have slayed my demons. And I actually saw me doing it. I took them on. I am a fighter. And I'm telling you that if you have demons, you can slay them too. Do not be afraid of them. Recognize anything that is within you or those close to you that you love. Pray for them because we're in a world where natural and base energies is trying to take back over again. And people are digressing due to these low-level energies that they're taking on, which a lot of it is guilty consciousness, a guilty conscience without being able to, even confess to God, who would never tell anybody your secrets, I mean, just to hold all that in. And when God is right there waiting for these things that you can clear out of systems, out of your system, or encourage others to clear it out of their systems, to release the attachments, the addictions that we go through life, having value or self-worth. But what I want you to know is we're all here to slay our demons. I'm going to set this one over to the side. We got the sustainer right here. This is to not hold on to those old energies, to release the things that you don't like about yourself. Release them and let them go. They're energies that might maybe not bring you into the best places, or maybe people who are attached to these energies, and when they're around you, you can feel that. And I myself speak from experience. You know, there are people that I still know that, you know, I have to watch and protect myself from, that aren't awake. They're completely asleep and they don't understand how they're acting or why they're doing what they do. When it doesn't take a whole lot to understand ourselves. You know, we all basically want the same things. We want a good life, we want a loving life, we want a kind life. Or that's what I would suspect most people want. And we want, you know, to have a sustaining life. We want resources. We want to be able, well, that's what this is, a sustainer, right? We want to be able to sustain a good life and keep it there. Our job is to continue to educate ourselves about spirituality, about the inner world, and strengthening ourselves, because the stronger we are and the more we change and begin to understand what the truth of this planet is all about, that it is a mystical place, that we have to be aware of things that are going on that we really don't like. That just because we close our eyes to it, it only makes it worse. It's time we speak up and speak out and leave this place better for our children to come, and protect your children. Question them, ask them things, ask them about things they don't know how to talk about, okay? Because, like, how do you talk about something like that? You don't even know what's going on. You might know that it didn't make you feel good, like me at 3 years old, stomping my foot, even though I knew I didn't like what I saw. And I understand now that I saw the end of my family. I saw that I wasn't going to have a family. I knew immediately, right then at that moment. I understand that now, but I didn't know what I felt then. That was so horrible and drastic that, you know, my distress awoke a tree, and it called me over and gave me energy and love and put me back to sleep. I'm not kidding. Because the whole world is alive. Everything's alive. Okay. And so, with that being said, you felt the love and tenderness of the tree that I channeled. Yeah, I loved her. I never forgot that tree. Many things have I seen that I haven't talked about on this channel yet. Good and bad. That is on the other side of the veil that most people keep up. I wasn't born with a veil. I could see. And that's what makes me qualified, is I can see and I understand mental illness, because I thought I was mentally ill for the longest time, until I realized that there were spirits that had a hold of me that I had to fight off. I didn't realize this until I was like in my 50s, okay? So while I was homeless and going through all that is when I was slaying my demons. I literally forged a sword, which was my mind. And I went in and I slayed all my demons. I cut them to pieces. I was ruthless with them. I'd been training. I called it God's Boot Camp. I think I told you guys that when I got kicked out and had to walk from Utah to Washington. I called it God's Boot Camp. By the time I got to Washington, I was ready to kick my demon's ass. And I did, and I had a few, as you can imagine, from where I come from. I slayed them all and left myself holy. I killed them off. The lust, the materialism, the ego. You know, I literally in my imagination forged a rainbow sword. I saw myself creating it. I watched it. It was huge, and God helped me, and I knew He did. And then I went in and I went for the throat. And I showed no fear, of which I had none, because God was with me, and I wasn't going no lower, right? I'm on the streets. There ain't nothing, I can't go much further down. I better fight now and come back up or be gone forever, is what I thought. Let's pull a card on that. The riddle. The riddle. Yeah. Was I going to go down without a fight? Everything my daddy ever taught me, the fighter came out in me. And I became serious. I was a drug addict at this time. I quit methamphetamine for 20 years, and then when I went homeless, I started doing it again. And I was doing it at that time too. When I made my sword, I called it fasting. I would fast for days and read the Bible, read spiritual material. I was after my demons. I was going for them hard. And I carried my sword, which many people would have thought was imaginary. But for me, in my spiritual world, it was real. And I was going for the throat of any demons that reached out to touch me. And many had. And many were destroyed. Male demons, female demons, any demons that were within me. Promiscuous, she died. Yeah, lust, he died. I killed him. Addiction, wiped it out with my sword. My mental clarity and understanding that these were things that were keeping me in the dust. What do we got here? The riddle. 53. 24. So, for those of you that think that demons aren't real, I'm here to tell you they are. And I'm here to tell you they are invading every aspect of life. They are low levels and they're sneaky. And you got to watch for them, because they're, they don't want you to be seen, because they'll be detected. So watch for them, because they entwine throughout our lifetimes. The riddle, the puzzle, the question, the mystery. Ponder these cones. The coin that's lost in the river is found in the river. If you meet the Buddha, kill the Buddha. Ponder these cones. The coin that's lost in the river is found in the river. If you meet the Buddha, kill the Buddha. A great awakening or an aha moment when you're light, when you're dark, manipulation, deceit, and trickery. When the riddle is present, one must stop searching for the right answer. It cannot be found and ultimately is not important. Rather, there must be a shift from the literal to the metaphorical, from logic to mythic. You are thinking too small and literally about the situation. The riddle card appears when the energy is deep and mysterious, like the elusive wisdom in a Zen koan. Focusing harder won't do it, neither will increased effort. Time, surrender, and humor are your only allies. What feels like the most pressing dilemma won't reveal its deeper wisdom for a long time. Eventually, you'll learn a profound lesson from the riddle. For now, get comfortable with the limitations of your intellect, and the reality of not knowing it may, in fact, be the only reality there is. Not knowing. Yeah. We're not sure what's out there in the great unknown. You know, between you and I is all this darkness that's there. And we want to be careful of what doors we open into our lives. We want to open doors that's going to bring in refreshings and blessings, light and love and kindness and gentleness. And no matter how far down you think you are, let me tell you, you're never so far down you can't reach the light. And you're never so far down that God, the Creator, the benevolent spirits around our universe will always lend a helping hand. And that's where faith and hope come in. You never give up on faith and hope. You might not see everything the way it's working out for you, but with faith and hope will come the day when you will begin to see the truth of it all. Do not despair, but do know that there are things in life, whether they're demons on a spiritual sense or low-level energies that have propagated themselves from the beginning of time. You know, in the beginning when we were first creating man, lust was probably an energy that helped bring procreation about. But we don't need that energy anymore. Not that I'm saying, you know, what I'm trying to say is we've got to recognize the difference between healthy sexual practices and unhealthy sexual practices, because sex is sacred. It's intended to be loved and enjoyed and a beautiful thing, but it can be turned into something that can destroy the lives of many. And it needs to be talked about in the house to make sure that your children and you are on the same page when it comes to what you want them to experience in their sexual life. Not that you will have any choice after they get to a certain age, but until they're 18, you do. You have a choice of how they experience their sexual life and how you would like to see their relationships in their life grow. Let's pull a symbol. I love you guys. And this was really hard for me. I was awake a lot, you know, trying to, you know, figure out how can I present this. The earth with a halo around it. Protection. Protect your children from things that can cause them problems so much later in their lives that they can't get it back together. I have my life together. I was able to overcome. I fought my battles like a champ. Others, not so much, were able to overcome. And we see so many who don't overcome. And many of them are homeless and out in the streets. and have even no way to explain what they're trying to overcome. They don't even know what battles they needed to fight because they missed it. They weren't able to win, and it's sad. So check your children, always question them, protect them from things that are not good for them, and let them know the difference between, good touch and bad touch. You don't hardly hear about it anymore. You don't. I haven't heard about it in a long time, but please, please, please protect your children and ask them what happens when they go to their babysitter. You can do it in a way they don't even know what you're doing. That's the best way to do it. Let their innocence speak for itself. Okay. Well, I'm going to shut this down. Divine Collective. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to talk to your children about things that that are in the wind. You got to watch out in the wind. In the wind, what you say, what you do can come back and haunt you later. So I love you guys. Mwah. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. I hope I don't offend anybody. Oh, yeah. And if you're still here, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.